What's up guys, Derek here from the Scrub Effect. We're on episode 4 now of Everlasting Summer. Let's get into it. We enter the canteen. Wait a bit, I'll go get something. I sat down on a chair and obediently waited for my savior. She got us food. My dinner was simple, a few buns and a glass kefir. No wonder, I bet hungry pioneers finished everything off. However, even though it was far better than most of my usual diet. Slavia sat across the table and looked at me while I was eating. Is there something on my face? No, just... She smiled. So how did you like your first day at the camp? Well, I don't really know. It's silly to ask someone who suddenly found themselves in a different reality whether he liked the food in the canteen, the camp leader, or his assigned hut. It's alright, you'll soon get used to it. Slavia stared out the window dreamily. Frankly speaking, I had no desire to get used to such things, but as for her, she doesn't know, or at least she wants me to think she doesn't. Well, all in all, it's nice here. I had to somehow break the awkward silence. You think so? She asked without any interest. Yeah, this place is so... I wanted to say retro, but I managed to hold that back. After all, it was retro for me. What about them? I might be the only kind of life they knew. If the term life was applicable here at all, so how? She watched me closely. Oh crap. Is this something important depended on my answer? Well, I don't know. Lovely. Yeah, it's lovely here. I guess you're right. She smiled again. It's very good that you think so. Why? Well, not everybody likes it here. What about you? Me? Yes. I love it here, it's great. Then you don't need to worry about what other people think. Well, I don't really worry. Slavia laughed. This conversation seemed to be leading me far astray from where I wanted to get to. And you're worried yourself. Really? Why do you say so? Well, when someone is chewing so intensely... I'm sorry. It's okay. I can bring myself to be more cautious around this girl. But why her in particular? Why not the other local inhabitants? Every one of them looked completely normal to me. Precisely normal. So normal it sends chills down my spine and into my marrow. Normal, not like neighbor with a power drill in one hand and a subwoofer in the other. Not like a passenger you often meet in a subway or on a public transport. Not like a coworker at the next table in an open plan office. And not even like a friend who only differs from other humans in his constant, oh my goodness. All of them look normal, as I would expect them to be, with their own downsides but without any superpowers. And Slavia was so cute? I glanced at her stealthily, not knowing what to say. I'm sorry, I wanted to show you the camp, but ran off my feet. I didn't miss anything while on my own, I guess. Are you sure you haven't missed anything at all? She smiled so brightly that I had to drop my eyes in confusion. Well, how would I know? It's my first day here. Okay, and what have you seen so far? I've seen the square, this canteen, the football field. What about the beach? Just from afar. You really should go there, but let's do it together. Yeah, okay, we will. Her naturalness started to scare me, but then I thought, what if everything that happens here is how it's supposed to be, and this world looks strange only to me, while for them, it is normal? Maybe I was thrown into the past. Yes, that would explain a lot. Can I ask a stupid question? No. Okay. None of the girls let me ask questions. They won't let me do anything. I can't think for myself. It's late. Can you find the way to Olga by yourself? Of course I can, but why should I go there? She'll settle you with someone. What for? Probably this question seemed stupid because Slavia bursted into good-natured laughter. You need to sleep somewhere, right? That makes sense. Fine, I'll be off then. Good night. Night. It's strange that she left in such a hurry. A bundle of keys left in the door lock caught my attention. I was going to catch up to Slavia, but where does she live? And knocking on every door during the middle of the night wouldn't sound like a bright idea. Let's take the keys. I better take them. I'll give them back tomorrow because who knows what happens here at night. Such thoughts gave me chills. It's me who needs to be careful here in the first place. So there's not many decisions that you get to do in this game, but the ones that they are, I can't tell you what decision's the better one. Whatever. The night, though dark, wasn't silent at all. One could hear chirping crickets, the songs of the night birds, and rustling trees from everywhere. A sudden desire to follow Slavia's advice and go to the camp leader's cabin appeared. I don't know why, but the sight of the unknown bronze builder of communism put me in a constructive mood. I sat on the bench and started to recall everything that happened today. That was all my constructive mood could offer. Here was much brighter than near the canteen, and tardy pioneers were running by, so this place didn't seem scary at all. Bus, summer camp, girls. I was so tired from everything new and strange that I could not come up with a single explanation for what was going on. I heard a barely noticeable rustle nearby. I shivered and looked in that direction. A girl, reading a book. Lena. I decided to move closer and talk. She was the only new person I met here without exchanging even a few words. Hi, what are you reading? Lena was so surprised that she jumped. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Never mind. She blushed and stared at the book again. So what are you reading? On the cover written, Gone with the Wind. A good book? Thanks. Honestly speaking, I haven't read it, but I think that such literature suits her very well. Lena didn't seem to be interested in continuing the conversation. Well, if I'm bothering you, no. She answered while still looking at the book. Can I sit beside you for a while? Why? I think she likes this, guys. And really, why? Maybe just because I was very tired and having company is better than being alone. Maybe I wanted to try to find something out from her. I carefully examined Lena, but no, I doubt that. Well, I don't know. I'm not allowed to? Feel free. But if I'm bothering you, no, you're not. I can leave, just say everything's alright. She seems so back and forth. Do we stay? Do we leave? Okay then. I sat on the end of the bench carefully. After such an intense talk, staying here was the last thing I wanted. But if it wouldn't be nice to just stand up and leave. That didn't really go well, huh? Lena hasn't answered anything. It seems I made a fool out of myself. I bet if Ilyana was here, she'd have a good laugh at me. Do you enjoy being here? I recalled Slavia's question and thought it would be a good start for a conversation. Yes. She smiled slightly. I guess I like it too. Lena definitely isn't very sociable and probably can't carry on a meaningless conversation as easy as Slavia. But there was something about her that attracted attention, like a momentary glimpse of a reflection in the glass on a rainy autumn evening, which makes you turn around and stare into the darkness, searching for something that you saw out of the corner of your eye. Of course, you weren't able to distinguish or understand what it was, but still felt so tempting. Lena was still reading the book without paying any attention to my presence. I had no intention of asking her anything about this camp or this world in general. Beautiful night. Yes. How in a world would you start a conversation with her? It's late. I have to go. Yes, it's quite late. Good night. Night. Man, we're missing all our opportunities with these women. There was something strange about this girl. At first glance, she is a typically shy and modest pioneer girl, but the mystery of Lena took its own place in the massive list of mysteries about this camp, which I had started to put together in my head. A lazy evening. There's nothing like a good time with nothing to do. I headed towards Olga's cabin. The light in the house was on. Hello, Semyon. You're quite late. Yeah, I went for a walk to look around the camp. Alright, you'll be sleeping here. She pointed her finger at one of the beds. Right here? I was a bit surprised. Yeah, something wrong? We're out of free cabins anyway. The camp leader smiled, but I rather think it was just out of politeness. You do want to be a decent pioneer, don't you? There was a clear emphasis on the word decent. Yep, sure. I was lost in thought for a moment. Don't you mind, mademoiselle? She looked at me oddly, with surprise and some offense in her eyes. A pioneer should respect their elders, Olga said strictly. Of course he should. No one argues with that. I blathered, not realizing what was wrong. Shouldn't you also? She stared at me. Under such a gaze, even mithril forged by the best dwarf masters from the deepest dungeons would melt. Should I what? What's up, dudes? Annoyance and a lack of understanding made me raise my voice. You must address adults properly. Yes, of course, there are a lot of strange things here, but this girl's just a couple of years older than me, or maybe even younger. But I decided not to argue. Well, just a few minutes ago, I would never have called her an adult. I have to admit that she was also given a strong character. And in any case, I wasn't in a position to argue. As you say, ma'am, I mumbled. That's much better. That is how a decent pioneer should conduct himself. And now it's time to sleep. Honestly speaking, I was going to become neither a decent nor an indecent pioneer. Just yesterday, I wasn't going to become a pioneer at all. But do I have a choice now? If you don't want to, we'll have to make you. This is the motto Olga was probably going to use. I climbed onto the bed and closed my eyes, only to realize how tired I was after today. Something hammered in my head awfully, as if my brains had started a night shift, and they seemed to be aimed more at rolling steel than working on something more sensitive. The bus flew through my mind, and the square with the monument, the canteen full of pioneers, and the malicious face of Ulyana. Slavia. I like how instead of picturing her in her pioneer outfit, he just pictures her on the beach in her bikini. Of course he would. Lena. And even recalling Alyssa didn't give me too much of a negative feeling. What if I'm here for good? Alright, into day 2. I was having a dream. It seemed like I was in some kind of vacuum with nothing around me. But not only around, I was the only creature in the universe, as if the universe had returned to a state of singularity right before the Big Bang, and something was just about to happen. Suddenly I heard a voice. I could not make out the words, but it sounded familiar. The voice was whispering something gently, as if soothing me. Then I realized it was the voice of that strange girl from the bus, the girl from the dream. But what is she trying to tell me? Who is she? She must be dreaming again. I woke up. I still like that guy's face. I don't know why. Bright sunlight struck my eyes. It was almost noon. After stretching lazily on the bed and yawning, I started to recall the previous day. In a few seconds, all its events passed through my eyes. The bus, the camp, the local inhabitants. No, that's just wrong. Not this whole situation. Not me being here. It was wrong by default. My attitude towards what was happening was wrong. Because yesterday I fell asleep here just like that, and before that I chatted nicely with the local pioneers, even managed to crack a few jokes. How could I act like that in such a situation? I should be frightened, startled by every little rustling. Should avoid all contact with potentially hostile creatures. The last day's events were getting hazy, like I had a hangover. This really feels like the morning after a heavy drinking party. Yesterday's natural, flawless, absolutely normal conduct becomes a nightmare in the morning. A grotesque illustration from the Divine Comedy. Yes, it's just like that. I can't change the past now. Then again, I had probably assessed the situation and was acting accordingly. I glanced around trying to figure out whether I had been thrown somewhere else, but Olga's cabin looked the same as yesterday. Everything seemed to be in its place except for a pioneer uniform, which was hanging on the bedhead. I fumbled with it in distrust and tried it on. At least this is better than walking around in winter clothes. Wish I could see myself. Bet I looked like a clown, and for that I needed a mirror. At least a tiny one. Finally found one at the wardrobe door. Holy! I looked at the newfound pioneer and jumped away in surprise. There was some teenager on the other side of the mirror. He resembled me, but he wasn't me. Where did the weak stubble go? Where were the bags under my eyes, the slouch, that deathly fatigue on my face? It seemed that I had not been thrown back in time or into a parallel reality, but instead had simply changed bodies with someone else. Right, that's real simple. Such things happen every day. I took a closer look at the stranger, and only then I realized that it actually was me. It just wasn't today's me, maybe the one from between my school and university years. Well, at least that's something. There you go, the person in an extreme situation did fail to notice the elephant in the room after all. But the camp leader noticed it. Last night she told me off for addressing her without proper respect. Ah, screw that. Dang it, I'm a teenager again. You darn kids. I doubt my appearance affects anything else. If the clock was not lying, breakfast was long over. Oh well, I'll try to find something in the canteen. It worked out well yesterday with Slavia, didn't it? Those memories made me smile involuntarily. The sun was shining brightly outside. A light breeze was blowing. A beautiful summer day. I had not felt so good in the morning for several years. All problems were gone, vanished into the clouds that were white as snow. Olga came out of nowhere. Good morning, Semyon. Morning. I smiled, doing my best to show that no matter what, my morning was indeed good. You only arrived yesterday, so I decided not to wake you up. But breakfast... Never mind. Here, take this. She handed me something wrapped in paper. Judging by the oily stains, there had to be sandwiches inside. Oh, thank you. Now go wash yourself. I was about to leave. Wait a second. Olga quickly ran into the house and came out to shove a small bag into my hands. Inside it, I found a toothbrush, soap, a small towel, something else. I did not look too closely. A pioneer should always be clean and tidy. Let me do your neckerchief properly this first time. Yours is askew. You should do it yourself once you learn how to. Do we have to? I am going to wash myself now. Yeah, right. It could get hooked on the tap and strangle me. Fine, later then. And don't forget about the lineup. Pencils, paper, drawing lines. You don't forget such things. What lineup? What do you mean, what lineup? She frowned. It's Monday today. Weird. By approximation, it should have been Sunday. Then again, a shift in the day of the week is hardly the worst thing. Usually we have lineups early in the morning before breakfast, but it's Monday today, so we're having at 12 o'clock. Don't be late. Alright, but where? At the square. Where else? There was no reason to argue. I headed to the bathing place. I knew I could forget about separate showers and toilet, but at the sight of this malfunctioning symptom of decaying socialism, a funny turtle with a tin shell, paw taps, and a ceramic belly, I felt sick. I was not a squeamish person, but nevertheless, standing there, I realized that there was some minimal level of habitual comfort, which I found it troublesome to do without. It's often like that. When you lose things that you thought were ordinary, common, you suddenly understand just how essential that they were. Ah, screw this if I have any choice. The water was ice cold. While washing my hands was not an issue, washing my face and my mouth became a big problem. There's no toothpaste in the bag which Olga gave me. I could brush my teeth without it, but there was a small round box wrapped in a towel. Tooth powder. Cute. 1 point for me to being somewhere in the past. I washed myself quite quickly, also due to the ice cold water. tooth powder, huh? I'm kinda happier with the paste for now. Someone was coming quickly, or more like running towards me. I turned around. It was Slavia, dressed in a tracksuit. This girl would probably look good in anything. Pioneer uniform, bikini, probably even a spacesuit. Hey there. Ohio, I mean, what's good morning. Yeah. We're so awkward. Oh yeah, real smooth. Why didn't you come for breakfast? I overslept. I said it as if I was proud of it, but Olga gave me some sandwiches. Oh, great then. Don't worry about the lineup. Yeah, sure. As if I could forget. Right, I gotta run. Enjoy yourself. She waved goodbye to me and disappeared around the paths beyond. Looks like it's a couple of minutes until the lineup. I should quickly pass by my home to drop off my washing bag and eat the sandwiches, then head to the square. I swung open the door of the camp leader's cabin and rushed inside as if jumping into the last car of a departing train. Oh boy. It didn't turn out to be the best idea because I found Olga, who was changing. I froze on the spot, trying not to breathe. Finally, the camp leader noticed me. Oh no. Semyon! I looked away immediately. Have you heard of knocking? Now get out. Oh boy. Yeah, that was real clumsy. Although I did enjoy the sight. Olga followed me out in a minute. Here, take this. Now it is your home too. She handed me a key. I put it in my pocket. Home. Of course, if you disregard how fantastical the current events were, this camp was far beyond being the worst place on Earth. But to call it home, just after one day spent here, I doubt I'll ever be able to do so. Alright, let's go, we're late. What about the sandwiches? Just eat them on the way. Alright, let's go to line up on the next episode. Bye!